Well, welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you all. Um, Thank you for returning tonight. And for those of you who weren't with us last week, welcome. I think you're in for a great evening of learning and surprises. There's something really meaningful about coming back together, coming back to the page, and especially after hearing Jamie's reading last week. If you didn't get a chance to hear it, please review the for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Valerie Nye. I'm the library director here at Santa Fe Community College. And Wri-Gen, the Writing Generation, is a collaboration between the Santa Fe Community College Library and the Creative Writing Program. And we're really glad you're here. Let's see. So we're going to be doing a creative session tonight. The creative sessions are really an invitation to experiment, to try something new, to follow a thread that may have in space is about possibility, and we don't want you to feel pressure. This time is for you. At the end of the semester on May 6th, we'll hold a participant reading, and that evening in May will be an opportunity to share, if you wish, the writing that may have created during the Spring's Wri-Gen series. It may be something that grew out of these sessions or something that really inspired you and got you to move forward on a project that you're working on. I think having a date on the calendar, May 6th, is a gentle encouragement to us all to keep returning to the page, to keep thinking about what we're writing, and to continue showing up for this community and being committed to each other. So as a quick note tonight, we do record these sessions, and I'm happy that we can do that. We're really doing it for participants who can't attend live because we really feel that being together in real time creates a kind of shared momentum and community. So thank you for being present this evening. And if you can't attend in the future, please jump on a recording and then join us again the following week. So now I'm happy to turn things over to my colleague, Austin Eichelberger. Austin, it's all yours.
Thanks so much, Val. And welcome, everyone. Val and I are so glad to have you here. This creative session is brought to you by the Santa Fe Community College Library and Creative Writing Program. We're thrilled to have you join us tonight and hope you'll come back to celebrate the power of words and storytelling at our future events. Tonight's gathering is an invitation to those who have passion for the written word. If you've ever dreamed of becoming a writer, whether you'd like to craft compelling fiction, pen evocative poetry, or explore the world of nonfiction, SFCC is awaiting your arrival. In our program, students can earn a certificate or an associate's degree in English language creative writing. The Santa Fe Community College Creative Writing Program nurtures aspiring writers, providing them with the tools, guidance, and inspiration to take their creative endeavors to new heights. We believe that writing is not only a useful and practical skill, but an art form that has the potential to transform lives and connect people across time and space. SFCC's creative writing faculty are published authors and professional editors, and our course offerings include a multi-genre workshop and an internship with the Santa Fe Literary Review, SFCC's in-print literary journal. Related degree and certificate requirements include opportunities to intern with local magazines, newspapers, and publishing houses, to explore the world of book arts, and hone screenwriting skills. You can also now complete the entire program online. Please see the chat for links to our program website to see our course offerings, explore the program requirements, find information about the Santa Fe Literary Review, and learn about the Kate Besser Awards, SFCC's very own writing award. If you're considering your creative journey, we encourage you to ask any questions you have about the program. Whether you're an experienced writer looking to take a single course or a complete novice ready to explore your creative potential, we have classes and resources for you. Please see the chat for links to did I already say that? I don't think I did. Please see the chat for links to our program website where you can find more details. And remember that in Santa Fe Community College's creative writing program, we believe that everyone has a story and every story is worth sharing. Tell us yours. Sorry about that. I edited that intro just a little bit. Um, and then was, of course, unable to uh, rectify that as I read. Sorry about that. Um, And I'm so sorry. I need to bring up, I apologize. I need to bring up Jamie's bio. Whoop. I am so sorry about this. I am usually more organized. Oh no. Um, no. I am so sorry. Please join me in welcoming Jamie Figueroa. Jamie is the author of Sister, Brother, Mother, Explorer, and she writes about place and about heritage. I'm so sorry, Jamie. I apologize for dropping the ball on having your bio up, but we are so excited to have you back. Please join me in welcoming Jamie.
Buenas noches. Hello. Good evening. Taikaria, everyone. Let's give it up for our librarians and the SFCC Library and Creative Writing Department, English Department. Thank you so much for all of your support and service and guidance and leadership. Um, and for this gathering and for Wri-Gen, I really appreciate it. Val and Austin, and great to see all of you who have joined for tonight to do writing together. No pressure, no performance, just playing, just seeing what's possible. That's all. Um, so I wanted to revisit some things that we talked about last week when we were discussing how we create a personal narrative, be it a personal essay or a memoir, when we don't have all of the information that we need because our memories are constantly changing, because folks have gone on and we're the record keepers, because of trauma, because of um, familial and generational rupture and narratives that are essential to the story that we're telling. So, what to do when you find yourself in that situation? Um, you could say, I can't do this, and move along and try something else, potentially. There are lots of folks who do that. Or you could work yourself into a position of being transparent about what is the most factual you can possibly, the closest to factual accuracy that you can possibly get, while also leaving room for the ways in which the imagination and fiction can also enter your work. So I want to come into this sort of space in between, or maybe if we can even put them up against each other, creative nonfiction and fiction, and where they can border each other and potentially where they can even merge. Um, we expect our reporting to have factual accuracy, right? That is not the place where we want imaginations having their way. But when we are creating our own, like I said, personal essays and memoirs, we're aiming at many different kinds of truths, right? And so we're also wanting to name and rename. We're wanting to um, question and we're wanting to reveal. And we're doing it all on the page with scene, with dialogue that could have happened, but maybe not exactly that way. Um, and we're doing it with incredible concrete sensory specific detail. So that's a lot to try to manage, right? Um, so what I thought we could do tonight is play with some of these ideas with some exercises. It's very much going to be an experiment, but we're going to do this in multiple parts. So the first thing that we're going to do is create some lists. And then the next thing that we're going to do is choose from those lists and do a couple rounds of free writing. I'll be much more specific in just a moment, but I want to give you a heads up. And then we're going to read what we have written and create a pattern using the prompts that we've done the free writing to. So maybe by the end, you'll get to an initial draft of something surprising that manages to both be true and also to expand beyond what was factually accurate into a place of greater storytelling. Does that make sense? So far, so good? Okay. So the first thing that I would like for you to do is to make a list between 5 to 10 items on your list, and I'm going to be the timekeeper. We're going to take about 5 minutes to do this, but I want you to create a list of vivid memories that have happened in the last 1 to 3 years. Just a quick phrase that encapsulates that experience or that moment. So we're talking about recent, we're talking about vivid. Um, and you're just going to create a quick list. Like I said, you're aiming for about 5 on the short side and about 10 on the longer side. So that is our first list. I'm going to set a timer for about 5 minutes. Um, See what you can remember. Okay, just another minute. Okay, go ahead and find a good place to wind down and a good place to stop for now. You can always return. So we're going to create another list. Uh, we're going to create a list of older memories, of family memories, excuse me, of childhood memories, um, that are fuzzy, where you're like, yeah, I kind of remember the first day of third grade, but I kind of remember my first kiss, but kind of remember that time. Potentially stories that have existed within your family that other folks have told that you maybe have a different interpretation of, or your actual memory of it is not clear and vivid. It's speckled. So we're thinking about a list, again, 5 to 10, of memories that are fuzzy. Maybe you return to them and you try to figure out the details, or you've asked other people about them. Think about traditional moments, holidays. Think about big events that happened to you as a child or within your family and to see what's possible. This would be the opposite of the list that you created just a moment ago. It is older and it is unclear. Okay, start to wind down. Finish your sentence or your thought. Okay, so if you're feeling you know, I was gonna say courageous, but then that makes it feel like it's too much of a task. So if you're feeling like you want to be participatory, and just write one thing in the chat from one or both of your lists. Just a phrase. It doesn't matter if we don't know what it is, but just like, this is something from my list, and I'm going to share it in the chat as you look over both of your lists. Awesome. Um, do you know what I'm appreciating both the specificity and also like there was this time in my life it happened to me. I don't really remember it, right? That's what it's like. That's what it's like when we put together our stories of who we are and where we have been and what we have done. Um, so something um something that I did in Mother Island, trying to write a personal story about all of the places that there's no story. A little bit tricky. So one of the things that I did was create these refrains. I talked about this last week, but I'm going to give you a list of refrains. I remember it this way. It could have happened like this. I want to say it went like this. I don't remember. Perhaps this is how it went. And so I would use those phrases before a scene or before telling, really pivotal uh, information about experiences that are key to cultivating, to have cultivated who I am as a human being. So I'm going to put this list of prompts in the chat. And while I'm doing that, I want you to look over both of your lists and I want you to choose one from each list that you will use as a prompt to write into. So while you're doing that, I'm going to put what I just read to you in the chat. So we are going to do some free writing. And by that, I mean that I want you to try to be specific while also keeping your hand moving so that your inner censor, critic doesn't take over. So I want you to grab the first prompt from the vivid memories from the last 1 to 3 years, the one that you circled from that. I want you to take that and I want you to look at this list that I just put in the chat. And I want you to pair it with one of these phrases. So, um, I'm trying to use someone's example. Let's see. I'm going to imagine that planting flowers is recent. I'm going to imagine Was it recent, Audrey? I'm going to say that it was for the use of my example. Yeah. So planting flowers with, um, I remember it this way. And we're going to do 8 minutes. You're going to take something that you remember and pair it with, I remember it this way. And you can repeat that phrase, I remember it this way, throughout your writing whenever you feel like you start to lag or you get a little bit tripped up. I want you to try to bring forward as much concrete, sensory, specific detail that you possibly can. Audrey with her flowers, I want all of the senses engaged as much as she possibly can. You all are seasoned writers. You know what I'm talking about, yeah? Let's do it. 8 minutes. I will give you a warning when we are winding down. Okay, just another minute. Okay, see if you can find a good place to come to a pause for now. Okay. Um, does anyone want to read part or all of their writing that they just did? I know it's all gooey, but we're not giving any kind of critical feedback. We're just listening. So you're getting people who are just going to celebrate hearing the sound of your voice, which is a pretty great thing. Any volunteers?
Okay.
Carol.
Okay.
Carol's gonna do it. Look at Carol. Okay, so we're gonna give
Couple-
Carol we're gonna give Carol our full attention. Um, and I want you to listen, um, so that when Carol is done reading, you can put in the chat a specific phrase or words that stuck with you from what Carol's about to read. So that's the kind of listening that we're going to do. Okay?
Okay, and I didn't even get to the main point I wanted to get to because I was trying to add all the detail that I didn't get to, like the punchline. So
Okay.
anyway,
Got
so I remember it this way. We ambled down the cobblestone streets of Assisi, the five of us, Bridget, Joaquin, Paloma, Jose, and I. It was a steep climb in parts, the streets narrowing and expanding. We dipped in and out of little shops along the way, buying gifts for those back home and sweets for our own pleasure. The view of the Assisi Cathedral was in front of us, but off in the distance. The sky a deep blue with an occasional puffy white cloud. We saw a sign to enter a small church along our path. Not knowing if this was a significant historical place or not, we entered out of curiosity. It was cold and our faces and hands were chilled, so the warmth of the church was welcome. We hadn't visited a church of any kind so far in Italy that wasn't breathtakingly beautiful. Inside the church, we followed a roped off path which ended at a glass coffin. Laying inside was a young boy with a red soccer jersey. Visitors were crying and touching the glass, praying and moaning. We thought we had stumbled upon a funeral for this young lad, and that's as far as I got.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Carol.
He was actually a saint, nominated as a saint, this young kid. Yeah,
Wow.
it's been in the paper recently. You may have read about him. But it was
Um,
bizarre. We started laughing because we were so uncomfortable that there was a young boy and he died 8 years before. He had been dead 8 years. So it was creepy for us, but I guess it was a cultural thing. Sorry.
wow.
So I just wanted to add that to explain the context.
I love that you spent time writing and were like, I have so much more to do. I'm just getting
Yeah, this was
started.
very inspiring.
Oh, good. I'm gonna put my stuff in the chat. Fantastic. Thank you, Carol. We were all with you. All of us. Um, does anyone else want to read? Could probably do one or two more. Yeah, Bonnie. You want to unmute? Okay.
Okay, bear with me. Okay, I remember it this way. It might not have happened had I not run into a friend who said she'd read something that sounded like mine. What? I say, I haven't written anything. I'm working on some research but haven't finished. Still working out the details. Where did you see it? In the research journal at the college. I can't help but want to verify because I know the only person who could have done it was a trusted advisor, a mentor, someone I trusted with my soul. Yet here it was, my work under someone else's name. There were differences. Her work was scattered with mine, but my quotes, my words, my up all night thoughts, my tears when the first time I realized it wouldn't work, all my hours and days of revision, my trust in her was in that journal, in other people's hands, violating me with each read. I remember feeling as if someone kicked me in the stomach, stretched my heart until it was a mere memory of what it once was, broke my creativity in half, reassured me that nobody ever should be trusted with my soul.
Oh, Bonnie,
Ah,
thank you. And horrible.
yeah,
Um, Oof, my goodness. Uh, so much to say about that, Bonnie.
yes,
Visceral reaction. So thank you for that. Okay, I want to do one more prompt before, and still have time to read before we close out for the night. So the second request invitation I have for you is to look at your second list with your fuzzy memories. You've chosen one. So I want you to look at, I'll put it in the, well, you can still see it in the chat. Um, Use the prompt either I don't remember or perhaps this is how it went. And I want you to really lean into not getting it right at this moment, but filling it in. You have all the creative license to fill this in. Um, so we're going to spend 8 minutes with you trying to slow the moment or the experience down and using your creativity as if you're a fiction writer, as if this were a piece of fiction, to have the confidence to guess, play, recreate. And you can continue to repeat that prompt throughout. Perhaps this is how it went, or I don't remember. I'm going to set the timer. We're going to go for, let's go for 7 minutes.
Can you unmute, Jamie?
Of course, I can unmute. Thanks, Alton. Go ahead and finish your sentence or your thought. I made a little drawing I want to share with you all, so I didn't want to be noisy while I was doing that. Okay. Does anyone want to read the second experiment to us? Jackie, are you debating? Do I see you debating on your face?
Maybe.
We'd
I
love
can,
to hear it.
I can read.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I don't remember falling down the stairs and breaking my collarbone. There were no stairs in our house. I was told we were staying in a historic home that was turned into a bed and breakfast. I don't remember falling, but I remember those marble floors at the bottom of the stairs, the coldness of them, the stark white with swirls of gray and black interrupting. I remember how hard it was. I remember I was wearing a yellow sundress. I don't remember falling out of the bed 2 days later and breaking the other collarbone. I remember the four-poster dark cherry wood bed with a matching wooden step stool that even a grown-up needed to get into the tall bed. I remember the red print bedspread and red velvet bed skirt, the bumpy mattress, and that the room smelled of gardenias. Now I can't even tell you where it was. Virginia somewhere. If it had happened 30 years later, I'm sure my parents would have been investigated for child abuse, but I know it was an accident. I just, thankfully, I don't remember the pain.
Jackie, brava! Fantastic. Can you read those first two lines again? Because I almost stopped breathing.
I don't remember falling down the stairs and breaking my collarbone. There were no stairs in our house.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. Wow. It's so good what we don't remember. It's got so much detail and it's just rich with complications and tension. Fantastic. The room smelled of gardenias. Yeah, that was incredible. Does anyone else want to read?
I'll read.
Thanks, Ellen.
It was December 31st, 1948. It must have happened this way. My father was having a coronary in the room next to mine, my parents' bedroom. I am told that the ambulance was called, but in a raging blizzard could not find the apartment house. My mother, helpless, watched in horror. I am told that my cousin Larry Frank, a doctor, arrived, but my father was already dying. It must have happened very quickly. I'm told it was 3 a.m. Shortly after, my cousin Enoch, a dentist, arrived. I don't know how they were able to make it to the apartment. There must have been total chaos as my relations tried to revive him, and my mother stood paralyzed in shock and disbelief. I slept deeply under my favorite red plaid woolen blanket in my narrow bed in my own room and never heard anything. My mother watched her 46-year-old husband to whom she'd been married for only 16 years, die in front of her.
Ellen, striking. Striking. Well, you know, then when we do creative nonfiction, we're like, oh, that's so terrible. And you wrote it so well. It's just like this weird thing that happened. So I don't want to be disrespectful to the moment and your family, but wow.
Well, I have
Really tremendous.
amnesia. I've never remembered. That's what I know I was told happened, but I had complete amnesia.
You know, I love ending on that image with you under the red plaid blanket and the narrow bed and like this tucked in and sleeping soundly. What an
Mhm,
incredible image to end on. And I would really encourage you to, um, find the spaces in between. So when we write something and an initial free write in whatever just kind of tumbles out of us, then we can look at it again and look for the windows and doors or the places to re-enter, right? And you
mhm,
can re-enter through how would I describe the look on my mother's face? I wasn't in that room, I was sleeping. But that
mhm,
is an interesting exercise. How would I imagine the dialogue between my two cousins that had arrived and were trying to
mhm,
save my father's life? Like, what would they be saying to each other? Imagine that.
mhm.
Um, I imagine snow doesn't necessarily make a sound when it's falling, right? That's kind of the creepy thing about it. But like pulling that sense in of the snowstorm
Mhm.
happening around the apartment building. um, the other tenants that were, nearby, the smells of those tenants, the set potential sounds or the lack of sounds when there usually were, you
Mhm.
know. All of those are just places to re-enter and
Yeah.
to recreate because clearly you have that capacity, for moment, for scene, for pacing, for description. All of that is working incredibly well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one of the things that I wanted to show you, I know we're getting down on time, but this is your homework class. Let me just, okay. This is my terrible writing. Bear with me. So what I want you to do, um, once we finish, is to consider what you have written, and you can create both of these structures, or you can do one or the other. So you can look at your first writing and you can cut it in half. And then you can look at your second writing and you can cut it in half. And then you have one, two, three, four pieces because you've just cut two pieces in half. And then I'm calling A the first writing, and then you can put B the beginning of the second, right? And then this A here would be the second half of the first right, and then this B would be the second half of the second right. And in between, you would repeat the phrase that you used. So in the first, it would be, I remember it this way. And you would repeat that here, and you would repeat that here. For the second writing, whatever you used, perhaps this is how it went, repeating that phrase again before each one. I want you to try that, and I want you to see what happens when you splice and you put right next together, because something happens with juxtaposition and contrast beyond what you could imagine. Sometimes it works incredibly well. It's shocking. And other times it's like, that needs some finessing. But just try this as an exercise. Then here's the other option. Instead of cutting it in half, cutting it into thirds, both rights, and then just alternating until you have used up all the material, using the prompts in between. Um, we're working towards braided, not quite a braid, but we're working towards a braided lyrical essay that uses both what is recent and remembered to the best of your capacity with what is illegible to your imagination and recasting it in a way that makes it, excuse me, immediate on the page. Does that make sense? So that's your takeaway, your assemblage of your writing. And also for each one of you, what I was sharing with Ellen also bears weight to consider in each writing, where could I slow down? Where could I expand? Where could I be more specific? And you can continue to work both of these pieces, and then you can continue to play with the replication and the pattern, and then cueing each section with one of these phrases. Okay, and then you'll have a book. We can go on tour together. Okay, thank you, everyone. This was great fun. I hope you get some good writing out of it.
Thank you, Jamie. And we hope you might consider joining us on May 6th to see if people do what you have suggested and what comes out
Hmm.
of it. I think that could be really exciting.
I
So
would love to. I would love to.
great. Thank
Count me
you.
in.
Thank you all. I hope you had an enjoyable evening and have some new things to work with and some new ideas. And we will be back together in a little less than a month. And Swati Avasti will be joining us for reading. I'll be sending out information about the link the days before we get together again. So thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you,
Thank you so
Jamie.
much. Gracias.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.